and welcome back to another video. My name is Bianca and we have been in France for a good 3 weeks. Unfortunately, today is our last day. I initially wanted to make a couple vlogs while we were here in France, but I wasn't able to import any of the videos and things and stuff like that I captured, unfortunately, while we were here because trouble with the computer and things like that. So hopefully when I get back home, I'll be able to edit it all together, have a nice little vlog for y'all to see. We've done a lot of things in the last 3 weeks. It is kind of insane. It feels like things that we did 2 weeks ago feel like we did them so long ago, and it's kind of hard to remember exactly what we did unless we look back at the photos and things like that and we're like, oh yeah, we did do that. But for now, I thought I would kind of just bring you along and narrate some of the things that we did. I wasn't able to talk a whole lot because one, I'm still kind of getting used to vlogging out in public, and two, most of the things we did, we were with my fiance's family, and I didn't want to put them on the spot or make it kind of weird. But nevertheless, I did record a couple videos and things like that, and I got a lot of cute little videos of Poppy enjoying her time in France. She loved every minute of it. But instead of me just sitting here and telling you about our trip in France, I thought I'd add another little twist to it and talk to you about this trip, but also bring in a couple sweets and pastries. So I have here a good chunk of mini pastries. So for the pastries, we have a raspberry tart, a strawberry tart, we have a vanilla eclair, we have a lemon tart, and then a lemon meringue tart, vanilla and chocolate tart, and then we have a couple pâte de choux recipes. We have this one with the cream on the inside, and that one is a choux à la crème. The coffee bean, we have a mini pour les jeux. This one with the green and the chocolate sprinkles. It has a custard filling, but I'm not entirely sure what the official name for this dessert is. And then we have an almond paste layer on top of another. So that is all of the pastries that we have today. Let's get into our travels. So we were flying from Austin to Amsterdam and then Amsterdam to Basel. And the only downside to this was that we had a 12-hour layover in Amsterdam, and it was quite possibly the most stressful flight I had ever taken, just because it was such a long wait in between the last flight, and the last flight was only about an hour and a half. But this was also Poppy's first time flying. She did pretty good. The only downside was that she is mainly a lap dog when we travel in the car and whatnot, so she was definitely kind of sus about staying at our feet, but other than that, she did pretty good. Just to relieve the stress of that, I'm going to try one of these desserts, and I'm going to start off with the strawberry tart. So here we have it. This is the strawberry tart. This is really good. So after all that traveling, we finally landed in France and made it to my fiance's father's home. And we kind of just spent the next day relaxing, enjoying some food. Poppy was getting to enjoy his home, and he had a beautiful patio with a bunch of greenery and a nice view. For the rest of the day, we kind of just walked around my fiance's hometown and just explored a little bit. Fortunately, it was a little bit rainy. We also enjoyed a lot of cheese, and Poppy was also enjoying being a carry-on bag kind of dog. She was just going around everywhere. So before we talk more, I am gonna try another pastry, and let's go into this green one. So this is what this one looks like on the inside. I don't know what they do with the custard filling here. It just melts in your mouth. So let's continue on with our adventures. That Friday, we went ahead and drove down to Besançon to pick up my best friend and her mom. Say hi. And we just spent the day walking around the city, checking out a few shops, eating a bunch of good food. And then we went down to an ancient ruin from the 13th century, and we got to just explore that, and Poppy was absolutely loving it. She was having a blast just running around, meeting some other pups, and it was actually quite a great day. And this was the last thing we ventured before heading down to the venue space for the engagement party. So before we get into the party aspect of it, let's jump into another dessert. The next one I want to try is the vanilla eclair. So this is what this looks like on the inside. Just a smaller version of an eclair with a custard filling and then vanilla icing on top. Interestingly enough, I do prefer the green one we had before. I don't know why. Something about the vanilla was just not sitting quite right with me. So the morning of the engagement party, we went and had a little hike to a nearby waterfall that's close to the venue area. And then we came back, had a quick lunch, prep for the party. And then this is some of the party food that we had and a bunch of delicious looking desserts that were so yummy. And after the party, we kind of just hung out with my fiance's family for a bit, and then the following Monday, we went back to Besançon and we did a little venture to the Citadel. These stairs are no joke. And Poppy was having a blast just exploring. And being in her carry-on bag as well. You wanna get in? You wanna get in? Put your booty in first, and then your feetsies. After exploring the Citadel, we had a quick little drink and then dropped my best friend and her mom back at the train station so they could make their way back to the city and take their flight home. We grabbed a quick little bite to eat and then made our way back to my fiance's father's house. But before we get into that, let's try another pastry. I'm going to try the lemon tart. So this is the cross section of the lemon tart, and it looks like it has raspberry filling down on the bottom. We shall test it out. I'm typically a lemony person, but this one isn't really my favorite. The following day, we went to have lunch with my fiance's mom, and we were able to bring Poppy into the restaurant, which was really surprising, but she did so well. They had some really yummy looking steaks and drinks, and it was really delicious. And then we went to go buy some pastries to hang out with my fiance's grandmother, and we just had a little tea time and enjoyed some macarons. And then later that night, we went to his aunt's house and we had a raclette dinner with some boiled potatoes and some yummy melted cheese and an assortment of different meats. It was absolutely delicious. The following morning, we went back to my fiance's aunt's house and we just had a late breakfast. And we realized that Poppy was being very particular with the tiles on his aunt's patio area, so we built her kind of a little stepping ground, which was really funny. And then for the rest of that day, we just went to explore a car museum for one of the manufacturers in that city. And we got to see all the cars throughout history and all of the other items that they created. And then the following day, we made our way to Ribeauvillé. So before we get into what we did in Ribeauvillé, let's try another pastry. The almond topping one. So this is what it looks like in a cross section. Probably filled again with the custard. The green almond layering is a bit overpowering, but if you really like almond flavor, I think this would be really good. And let's move on with the rest of the things that we did. So we took about a 1.5 hour drive to Ribeauvillé, and we just walked around the town and had some delicious, yummy food. Poppy was being such a great girl. We hiked up a little bit, trying to see if we could get close to a castle, but it was just a little too far. Then we stopped by for some dessert, and we came home and we had some fondue. The next day, we went to another ruin. It's a theater ruin, and just walked around. Poppy was having a blast, as per usual. And then we came home and my fiance's father made some yummy mushroom soup. And then the next day we made our way to Belfort and we went and looked at another citadel in that city. And that's all we did for the next few days. And then after all those mini trips to these little towns, we had one full day to kind of just rest and relax before we made our way down to Aix-en-Provence. Before we get into everything that we did during that week, let's try another pastry. And I think I want to go with the vanilla and chocolate tart. This is what this one looks like. Well, that was a mistake. I definitely thought the chocolate would be a lot easier to cut through, but clearly not. So I'm just gonna bite this one straight off the bat. It does look kind of cool though. It makes it look kind of like a flower. So this is a cross section. It does have like a chocolatey hazelnut filling at the bottom, but I think the chocolate on top kind of overpowers the flavor of the chocolate filling on the bottom. But other than that, it pairs really well together. So let's head on into our week adventure into Aix-en-Provence. So this drive took about 6 hours and we had a little pit stop, so we got to take a little snack. This dog thinks he's part of the pack. And once we got there, we were just exploring and finding a place to grab dinner. Poppy really wanted some of that prosciutto. And then we kind of just went to our Airbnb that night and went to bed, and apparently had a bunch of hikes to do the next day. Wait. I'm gonna stop you right there because these hikes get a little intense. And before we get into those hikes, let's try another pastry. So for this one, I think we're gonna try the raspberry tart, and this is what this one looks like. Here is the cross section. The raspberry tart is delicious. Raspberry tart, 10 out of 10. All right, we can continue with the hike. So our first hike for this week was to Montagne Sainte-Victoire, and it was actually really beautiful but very windy. I'm pretty sure Poppy is definitely a hiking dog. And we did have our little backpack for her to get on and if she got tired, but it gets a little harder to put her in when there's not a flat surface. As much as I hate hiking, the views are always worth it. And then after this hike, we just went back to the Airbnb and made ourselves some dinner. Also, to prepare for the next hike, which I didn't really know we were doing. But before we get into that, let's take another bite of the pastry. And I'm gonna go in with the religieux. There's something about cream puffs that just have my heart. All right, well, let's continue on with the hike. And for this hike, we made our way to Cassis. And I originally didn't know we were going to be hiking super long, and there was a miscommunication between what we were supposed to be doing that day. So we parked the car and then just started walking, and we ended up in this little secret beachy kind of area after hiking so many rocks and cliffs and things like that. And to be honest, I was kind of over it because I didn't know what we were doing, and also because we hadn't had anything to eat.
Good girl.
So that's why there aren't that many clips about this hike. But other than that, I mean, the view of the little beach and watching Poppy get in the water was absolutely adorable otherwise. And we just have 2 more pastries left to try. I think I've saved the best for last, in my opinion. So we have the choux à la crème and then the lemon meringue tart. And as I said, I am a lemony kind of person, so I really hope that this hits the spot. I'm gonna save it for last. All right, so we have cream puff with the cream inside. If you want something simple, this one is the way to go. All right, and last but not least, we have the lemon meringue tart. And this is what it looks like in the cross section. If I could eat this every day, I definitely would. Anyways, that was all the pastries I had for today and kind of everything that we did here in France. I hope you all enjoyed this little vloggy style narration video. Please let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see from me in this upcoming month. I do have a couple of spooky makeup looks planned, and anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this France vlog pastry taste testing video. But anyways, I'll see y'all in the next video. As for me, I'm gonna go finish all these desserts. See you later. Bye.